Welcome back to Base Camp, WNC. We're on a little bit of an unusual job in that we have a low producing well on this property. It does about a half a gallon a minute, that's it. And they've set this thing up for an Airbnb that does 16 people at a time. And they have maybe 150 gallons in a reserve in the depth of the well, so they went with two 2,500 gallon tanks. So they have 5,000 gallon water system sitting here. And as you can see right here, we have the pump in this one, and I'll show you the pump down there. But the electric wire comes up, goes back down underground in all these ditches we had to dig. And landscaper's coming, and he's going to put railroad ties about 2 high all the way across here and down the end. And there's a dirt pile in the back in here. They're going to backfill everything right here, make it all look pretty, put some landscape fabric down, put some gravel on top, mainly just so they don't have to weed eat around here, because these tanks are plastic. And if they keep weed eating in the same spot, they'd end up with a hole in the tank. So I talked them into doing that. That'll frost-proof and freeze-proof all this, but all the lines in both tanks go into and out of the tank, which will be down here about 2 foot below grade. So once this thing's packed with insulation, this is the water line coming out. This is the drain line and the line between the two that goes from this one down into this tank. So when they fill one tank up, it levels both of them. But then there's a drain line that runs off here into the bushes if they ever need to drain it down. And we got a power disconnect. If somebody's out here working, they don't have to get in the house. They can just reach in, pull it out, and disconnect power to it. But what we have here, sitting right there in the bottom of this bush, is actually the well. And what it does now is, of course, it runs into the house. And I'll take you downstairs and show you that bunch of stuff. But it runs through the pressure tank and the control valve and the pressure switch, then comes back up through all these ditches, runs in here and goes up and fills in this tank. And then this line with the pump in it comes out and goes into the house, and then it supplies water to the house. With this well doing a half a gallon a minute, it would take like 7 days, 24 hours a day to fill these tanks. So they're actually going to buy some water. They're going to buy 4,500 gallons to get started. And like I said, the Airbnb is set up for 16 people, so a half a gallon per minute pump and well, or half a gallon a minute supply to the well. The previous owner had problems with it running out of water all the time and running dry. So let me take you downstairs and I'll show you how some of that's been taken care of. Well, I walked in, we're in the basement right here, and I gotta admit one thing. It is nice when the pump house has this much kind of room and lights and a concrete floor. It's nice to work in. But let me add to this. I mean, the well has a half gallon per minute. We're on a dry side of the mountain, and that most of the houses all around here have at least 2 wells. Some have 3 or 4 if they have horses. This area has a lot of horses with it. So everybody's got a water shortage problem and rationing it. So 2 wells is normal around here. And like I said, some have 3 or 4 because they have horses. So with all that being said, let me take you over this system. Okay, so basically, this right here was the original one. This came in here from the deep well, in the pressure tank through the switch, and went up through the filter and went in the house. And the previous owner would run it dry, everything else. And believe it or not, because I haven't hooked the 2 systems together, this right here is a white sediment filter, and it's not that old. In the process of figuring out how much water was there, they kind of sucked it dry, or the well man did. So now what we're doing is this tank comes in from the well, and it will go out through this one, which goes to the control valve of the float in the cistern tank. And all the well's going to do is slowly supply water to the cistern tank to try to keep it topped off. To keep it from running dry, which they've had problems, and the well man's coming to put a new pump in and everything else, we have a pump saver. And I'll do a video on this thing, in that you hook it up through the electric, it draws, you turn it on, draws how many amps. So when it starts, the power supply changes, it shuts the pump down, saying it's getting low on water. And then there's a setting in here for how long you want it to sit before the pump comes back on. So this thing will sit for about 3 hours, then the pump will come back on, and it'll basically shove that 150 gallons of water into the cistern tank. And when the pump goes and the level of the well goes back down again, it shuts off. So this keeps the pump from ever running dry and burning up. But that's all on the old system. So now what we've done is I've installed this whole system, and this is the water line coming from the pump that's in that cistern tank. It comes in, wired into the pressure switch, goes out, comes up through a filter. They wanted a filter on it. And because it's an Airbnb, we put a UV light on this thing. Then it goes up, and then it just ties into the regular copper plumbing in the house. So there's really two systems in the basement. The pump has that, or the tank has the water level device in it, so everybody knows what it is. The well is now controlled by a device to keep it from burning up. And like I said, the man's coming to put a new pump in because it's not running proper anyhow. So that's the way this system runs right here. So the reason for this wireless, internet-connected Wi-Fi transmitter is the owners are not on site. So no matter where they are in the world, they can tell whether there's half the volume in the tank or 3/4 or it's full. And if they have a fast turnaround between one group leaving and the next group coming in, they'll know how much water is in the tank and whether the well could fill it back up in time, or if they just need to buy water. Well, while I'm out here at the tank outside, let me show you what else we've done. And I'm going to do a separate video on this thing, but this is a Wi-Fi wireless tank level monitoring device. It goes here, and of course the line runs down in this tube. You don't have to do this tube, but my thoughts were, when they come in here and they pump 4,500 gallons in this tank, that's what they bring in the load, it's going to have this sensor flying all over the tank, and it might break it. So what I've done is, because this thing would just get pushed all over the tank, and I've got it on the thing right there. I've got holes drilled in the side, so as the water level comes up, it'll fill up. But this thing sits about 12 inches from the bottom of the tank, because that's about the level where the pump has to draw water at. And what that does is, as the water fills up, it puts pressure on this little tube, and that's the pressure reads in the transmitter, and that tells them what percent of water is in the tank. Like I said, I mean, I've got the directions, and I'll post another video on just handling that thing. Well, this is the main tank, and we have the electric line coming up here to the well pump that comes in, goes up here, and goes into the tank. I'll show you a picture from the top of the tank. But this is the pressure line coming out from the pump. It comes back down, comes out, so everything's underground, and we don't have to worry about anything freezing. That's the whole purpose of this thing. Same as usual. This is the one comes in through a waterproof. This is electric going down to the pump. And the pump, once again, is mounted horizontally in that tube coming up this water line. And that is so it's like 2.5, 3 inches off the bottom of this tank. So if there's any sediment ever gets involved in this tank, it won't be sucking it up. Well, here is the fill unit in the tank. Down there we came in underground to a bulkhead fitting and came up, go to a union. So if we ever have to, we can unscrew this union and take out the Hudson filter. Like I said, this is nothing but a livestock filter for in the livestock tank. But this way, it's in the tank. There's no exterior lines outside to freeze, and this thing will be in the water so it won't freeze while it's in the tank. Well, this is basically trying to supply water to a low producing well, and this is their solution for it. If you never need any help designing, helping coming up, figuring out things, like I said, this is what we do. It's not fancy, but it works. So if I can ever be of assistance to you, give me a shout. My email's at the bottom. And as usual, like it, share it, subscribe, tell your friends about it. I'll see you on the next one.